I would absolutely love Roy Keane.
As manager?
I have Roy Keane running this podcast.
That'd be me over Joe.
If you're throwing Roy into the mix, he's always spoken about wanting to get back into the management. I don't think he's going to go back in at club level. Maybe he shied away a little bit from the club management stuff because things are going so well in the punditry role for him now that he's probably thinking maybe I don't want to go back into that. You won't know until you ask him. But I'm sure if someone gave him a phone call from the FEI and says, we want to talk to you about managing the national team, I'm sure he would entertain that conversation 100%.
And also because the thing with him is big, sorry to cross it, is that he would need an assistant manager with him, a top level coach, because people criticise Keane for how he speaks on punditry, which is nonsense. The guy knows football inside out, but he may not articulate it the way a more modern person does.
Because he doesn't have the modern buzzwords.
Yeah, but like he has an idea of play. He would have a set standard, and this stuff does matter. These aren't buzzwords, but then he needs a coach to put a framework on that. And Stephen Gerrard last year was kind of similar. When Gerrard was doing well at Rangers and a little early days of Villa before it fell apart, the guy Michael Beale got a lot of credit because this Beale guy is meant to be, now he's not doing very well as a manager, but that shows it's a different job. He was praised as this guy. Gerrard said that would take me 10 years to be as good as Beale.
He was
coaching.
Effectively the brains behind it.
Yeah, so if Keane as a figurehead with a coach, could it work? Well, possibly. I don't know, but the FAI cannot rule anyone out. But I do think you need to move away from the personality type way of going, oh, Big Sam, he's out of work, get him. Or Chris Hughton, he's Irish, get him in. No, you get with someone, what attributes are you looking for? What do you want from this manager? Is it pressing football? Is it direct football? Which way do you want this team to play, and what are we hoping to achieve here? It can't just be your man's out of work, get him in.
So as you say, there is so much data out there. You could do a little search almost on football management.
Roy's been ran down, but like he did a good job at Sunderland a long time ago. But with the right coach and him mellowed, who knows? I'd pay to watch it anyway.
Oh yeah, listen, be box office.
And you do, and that's the thing as well. That would be my only fear if he was to get it, that it'd be like the publicity side of things.
Yeah.
You know, is it just because of his name and all? And I wouldn't want that. And I don't think he would want that. He would want to be given the job, basically, that you're the man we see fit for the job to bring us forward. And he would want to come in with that attitude as well. He's obviously the biggest name we've ever had over here, I think. Like, you go back to John Giles, Liam Brady, you can debate all them. But to me, he's the biggest and the best we've ever had. So you don't want that kind of star-studded figure just because he's Roy Keane managing the national team. Like, it has to be for the right reasons, on both sides. So if he was to ever get it, I really do think, Eric, he would entertain the idea.
Yeah, and
whether he take it, I don't know, but he would definitely have a conversation.
I think, as you mentioned there a few minutes ago, he's probably less inclined to go into club management unless it's a ridiculous offer and a big job because of his commitment to Sky. Whereas the international job would allow him to perhaps continue that. You know, do you think he's kind of mellowed enough now a little bit to be the head of the Irish team?
Why do you have to mellow?
You know, I suppose when it comes to press conferences and all that, he's, you know, notoriously reactive and grumpy, and you know, we all look at remember that famous whose phone is that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think to be fair, his work around Sky and seeing, and even though it probably infuriates the life out of him the way the modern game, he's had to just accept that.
He's adapted, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. Yeah. And even maybe being around the likes of Gary Neville and Carragher and and I'm sure off camera they're sitting having debates, and he's probably given out stink about maybe the way the game has gone. Ultimately, he comes to a conclusion that this is the way it is, or they're telling him that, he's seeing that, because he's a clever guy as well. So I'm sure he understands the way it's gone. So maybe in terms of when you say mellow, I think a lot of the stuff used to be labelled at him that in the dressing room he'd be like going haywire at people, you know, and that was his nature and as a player and a bit volatile. Maybe, but I still think you need a bit of that, Eric.
Okay.
You definitely need a bit of that.
Too nice.
100%.
I think it's been too nice, Alan.
And that's the thing with Stephen as well. Like, I looked at the game the other night, even the Netherlands. When we used to, and I'm not saying go back to this way, but there was always a bit of rough and tumble and get stuck in amongst them. That's what we're good at. And that's what we've always been good at. Yeah. And you need to, if you're an inferior team playing against a superior team, you need to ruffle them up or do things. Or Rob was saying here about fouling them when they're on the break. These kind of things that you need to do that will get your results. We almost say, look at the stadium, it's beautiful. Look at the crowd, they'll welcome you in. Look at the pitch, it's amazing. Yeah. You play your football, we'll play our football, and we'll see who wins.
Yeah. And
that's not going to get you anywhere either.
And after we'll talk about how we intended to do the right thing.
So I always think with Stephen's approach, and I'm not harping back to Stephen, but there has to be a middle ground. It's all right saying we're going to play like this and we're going to do this. That's fine. But when you're out of possession, we need to get back to being compact and tight and disciplined and getting stuck in, doing all those things. And And there has to be, it can't just be, it's this way and that way.
It can't be just black and white.
No, and there has to be a mix between your approaches, that when you're in possession, fair enough, go and play and create the chance and express yourself and all the things that Stephen wants you to do. But as soon as we lose the ball, as I says to you, as soon as Matt Doherty gave the ball away, I'm going trouble.
Yeah.
Trouble.
We were wide open.
Gaps everywhere.
Yeah. So Roy Keane is next manager with Michael Richards as assistant. Imagine that. That'd be some ticket, wouldn't it? Micah just there to provide the laughs.